Yeah, nobody likes to deal with sleet, freezing rain, and snow, but hey, this is what meteorologists live for, apparently. But, we are still seeing some snow and sleet, unfortunately, linger across parts of the state. That will be tapering off more so later into the overnight, but this storm is so slow. Yesterday, I thought it was slow since it was only moving from the northwest to the southeast at about 5 miles an hour. Probably a lot slower than that for us this evening, but just to show you just the true size of the system and all the bulk of this heavy precipitation where we're seeing the snow, guess what? We're not the only people dealing with the sleet problems. We're seeing that down into Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New York, and much of the Northeast with this system. But notice how we're not seeing a whole lot of heavy moisture associated with this on the back edge. So much like yesterday, around this time, things were starting to slow down as far as the heavier precipitation, but I'm expecting this to linger for a few more hours as far as potentially some of this heavier snow and sleet. And as I was explaining earlier, I put together a pretty in-depth explainer on why it looks like it's snowing, but it's not actually snowing. We're seeing sleet. Again, radar is just picking up some particles higher into the atmosphere, into the clouds where snow is falling, but it's running in the warm air, turning into sleet with cooler air near the surface. But again, down to the south, we are starting to see possibly a little more sleet rather than freezing rain, which is good news. But since the system slowed down, more light snow to the north, possibly some moderate pockets for those north and west of I-71, closer to Columbus into the southeast where we're seeing the bulk of that sleet, not a ton of snow. And as we head further to the West Virginia borderline, that's where we'll be looking at possibly some more freezing rain into the southern counties on the fringe of those ice storm warnings. And honestly, over the past few hours, we have seen some changes. Again, saw a good amount of snow for about an hour and a half, around 5 to 6:30, and then things quickly changed over to sleet. And just with the fact that visibility is just a shy under what it was about an hour ago, I do think we're starting to see some of that snow try to work in better into the region. But with that, again, even though temperatures at 23 degrees down to the south, still at the freezing mark in Jackson. So talk about a slow-moving system with temperatures into the upper teens to the north. And again, slowly drifting to the south and east. Likely what you're dealing with now is going to be sticking around for at least a few more hours before it'll shift gears, translating further to the south and east. Probably going to see some light accumulations generally, but with the sleet, that's going to eat away a lot of it. But I am expecting some more light snow as we head into the overnight morning hours for us on Friday. Likely southeastern Ohio by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's where you'll probably see the bulk of your measurable snow and not the ice accumulation and sleet. And then we'll likely have some light snow lingering into the mid-morning, early afternoon, but then cooling things off drastically with breezy winds out of the north. And on top of that, winds, again, are going to be anywhere from about 30 to 35 miles an hour with some of those gusts. So we will be dealing with some blowing and drifting snow. But wanted to show you what our high-resolution model is suggesting as we head into tomorrow morning. Pretty much 1 to 3 inches seems like a pretty good guesstimate as far as what most of us across central Ohio will be seeing on top of what we're dealing with right now as far as the snow. But again, could see the sleet kind of eat into that for some additional totals. But again, as we were talking over the course of the week, much of the snow was going to be to the north and west. But you could see with our ice accumulation, we are expecting some other areas to see some additional icing. Hopefully this isn't the case in McConnellsville because you've already seen a few reports, possibly around a quarter to, I saw one earlier that was 4/10 of an inch of ice. Down towards Athens, we'll continue to see that ice overnight into tomorrow morning. So these areas pay close attention because the worst is yet to come for some areas far to the south and east near the Ohio River, West Virginia borderline. And again, it is going to be a tough time scraping off the windows regardless of where you're at, especially here in Columbus area. So give yourself some time and you're going to need it, especially scraping off that sleet and then that ice on the windshield. Cold tomorrow, wind chills into the teens and possibly single digits all day long for us, and not really warming up as we head into the weekend. We're actually going to fall to 0 degrees Saturday morning. Bundle up, and that snow and sleet is likely going to stick around through a good chunk of next week, and then very well could be talking about another chance for some wintry precipitation later on into the week after Wednesday going into Friday. Yolanda?
0 degrees. Are you sure about that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Thanks, Ross.